Hello, everyone. This is Francisco Guerrero, Director of Training at AdSpiro Marketing, and welcome back to another one of our quick YouTube videos where we cover a topic or a specific question that people may have. And I also want to say thank you for all of those of you who attended our inaugural webinar where we talked about what we were doing and our mission to fix CRM for everyone. So thank you for all of those who attended. Remember, we are having webinars pretty much every week, so check the website to join us on the next one. But for today's topic, and you're here for, is, how do I show my boss how CRM actually benefits the company? So one of the, this is a traditional critical question. And one of the dangers of CRM is that you can get very busy making emails, writing copy, doing all the production, all the QA, beautiful emails go out the door every day, every week, but you're not really moving the needle, or you don't know if you're moving the needle or not. Remember, not all your efforts will work. That's why there's a lot of testing and there's a lot of variety of efforts. But you need to understand, okay, if I'm your boss, how are you going to show me, CRM marketing professional, that your time that you're investing in doing, direct marketing, email marketing, all of the messaging that you're doing, is that actually having an effect on your company, on your bottom line? So let's talk about this and how does that work and how do you actually prove it and what is the answer to those questions. So let's go ahead and just do a quick share on the screen and then let's talk about that right away. So let's see. All right, guys, so I'm gonna move myself to the bottom corner for now. And so for today's topic is, how do I show my boss my good results? What are the benefits of CRM and email campaigns? Remember, in our class, in our modules at AdSpiro Marketing, we cover this as part of our CRM 101 and 102. I'm just going to go briefly through the benefits of a CRM system. The only reason that you're sending messages to your users besides transactional messages is because you want them to either increase their customer value, whether it's money, whether it's the frequency, whether it's discovery, whether it is you want more attention, more of their time using your app or your game more. You want to decrease customer attrition. You should get some sort of benefit in the retention end. If you're not getting a retention and benefit, you might not be getting the full set of benefits from CRM system. There's something wrong there. You can enhance your brand value. You can use CRM system to make sure you are constantly looking for good reviews and get brand recognition. There's also a way for you to use your CRM system in a way that, hey, your reputation, your reviews everywhere look good. And then you want growth. The thing that you want is you want referrals, you want your users to give you more users, you want your CRM system to help you convert your people that arrive to your service, to your website, to your app, and you want an increased return of investment on your overall marketing efforts, which is what CRM system should do for you. Now the question is, okay, Francisco, I understand that I have to provide this, but how do I prove it to my boss that I'm actually delivering a benefit on all of these things? Well, what you need to do is answer the question of incremental value. And incremental value is just, once again, a fancy word for a thought experiment, which is what if? What if I didn't send any messages? What if I just, what if I just sat in my office or my home, if I'm working from home, and I don't do anything? Versus the fact that I spend, 20, 40, 60 number of hours in this particular messaging campaign to the users. Okay, and what is the benefit? And how much of that benefit do you actually increase? And how do you prove that? How can you actually show the benefits, not only to your boss, but the rest of the company? That you want support from the rest of the company. No one will come from your help unless you can show to them, what, there is a benefit. For every dollar that you can put in CRM, that you can put in your marketing messaging efforts, you're going to get $1.50 back. And this is how it works, and this is how you prove it. So usually there's some methods well accepted, but they're hard to execute. So let's talk about those briefly. And at the full module of AdSpiro Marketing, we go through each one of them. We tell you how to calculate them. And also we tell you the pros and cons on each one. I'm just gonna go fairly quick on this one just to get the answer out there that we've been getting a lot of people to ask us. So How do you prove incrementality? And basically, you start thinking of our what if exercise. What if I didn't send messages to my users? So usually that means, you could separate one group of users that doesn't get any messages versus a group of users who's getting your efforts. Now we call that a control group. So a control group is usually the one that, you will gonna leave alone. You're gonna figure out, okay, hey, this X% of my customers or my users, I'm not gonna make them part of this campaign, and I'm gonna compare their performance to everyone else who was there. So once you have this set up, then you can start thinking about, okay, how do I measure that? So one way to measure the effect of your incrementality is a cohort. This is fairly complex, but is one of the very best ways to do it. And it works long-term, which actually helps you and gives you actual real good numbers. So what a cohort means is basically you're gonna keep tracking people on a specific time period. So let's go through our experiment again. So we know we're gonna want two groups of people. One will get our messages, one will not get our messages, right? On a cohort analysis, you're gonna say, hey, here's all the people in the month of April, and here's the people in the month of April 2020 that are getting all of our messages, and this is the group of people who are not getting any of the messages, and you're gonna track them for every single month for a year or two. And while this takes a little long to get some results, you get some really solid results. So basically you can say, hey guys, listen, for all of the people, for all of the customers, for all the leads that are getting our our email messages, these customers are actually performing better than the people who are not. And how do you perform better? Again, you can check frequency, monetary value. Are they commenting more often? Are they spending more time? There's always to define what is the factor. You can do, if you're sending emails once a month type of thing, you can do a control group. Basically, every time you send an email, you create a random group and you separate it and everyone else gets that. Now, that usually works fairly well. However, not my favorite method because sometimes it gets confusing. I mean, some month you might be on the group that doesn't get an email, the next one you are. So it doesn't really give you a clear picture unless you're not sending that many emails that often. One of my favorite ways to do it is what I call the perennial control group. And this is something that I use very successfully at PayPal, which is from the very beginning, we decided, you know what, we're gonna hail 10% of our user base. And we did it because we had an alphanumeric user ID. So we said, hey, any user ID that ends in the number 7 this year will not get any messages. And that means anybody who was existing, user ID ends on number 7, goes to the control group. Any new user that gets created, if they end in number 7, they just go to the control group. So you have a constant cell that's growing that represents the people that are coming in. It's just totally random, just pick the number. And those people get nothing. They won't get your welcomes. They won't get any other things except perhaps transactional messages. And then you keep track of these people, then you don't have to worry about creating a random cell for every time you send an email. You already have them predefined for the entire year. And then it's super easy to go and do a cohort analysis and you just tell your data analytics or yourself, hey, here's all the people, his user IDs are 1, 0 through 9, except number 7, here's number 7s, and this is how they did. This is a really, really solid way for you to also figure out if your efforts are actually being incremental, because sometimes your first email will not be incremental, not your second. It might be a combination of number 4 or 5 or 6 where you're actually starting getting traction. Another one of my favorite ways to actually do incrementality is to do a full backend matchmaking. What that means is you're going to take the list of the people that you didn't send anything, you're going to take the list of the people, you send them an email, and then instead of saying, hey, these people click on it and these people open the email, click on it and look at it, you're actually going to match the entire list to the time period that you want to search for leads or transactions or whatever. And when you're doing this is you're actually making sure that you're taking care of what some people call the halo effect. Basically, I might get your email, I'm interested, but I don't click on the email, I'll just go to the page and do it. Or I get an email, I don't act on it immediately, but maybe an hour later I open the app and do what you're telling me about it. So in this case, because I didn't click on the email, you might think, well, did this user really came from email or not? But so the matchback will help clarify that. You'll say, hey, we match every single person who got the email to the sales from last week versus the people who didn't get the email to the same time period. And now we're really matching numbers. I can tell you exactly what happened to them. Because as I said, some people don't act on your email message or your push notification. They see it, they might see it twice, and then they might decide, to click on the email, but still go to your site, to your app, and do whatever they want to do. So you want to account for that. Now, some other methods that are less accurate but more directive are similar groups. You might have two similar groups of people. They really look the same in terms of age, customer mix, and maybe you say, you know what, I'm not going to do a random selection. I'm just going to say group A versus group B because I have enough data to prove them that they're very similar, they're buying the same. Maybe it's one state versus the other, or if you're in an international company, it's one country versus the other because their sizes are the same and their activity is the same. So maybe you want to test with one group versus not the other. There might be some inaccuracies here, but you can get some directional data. It's good. You can do the before and after activity comparison. Sometimes you forget to do a control cell. You don't have the ability to do a control cell because, hey, you only have a few hundred people you're doing this email to. You really cannot afford to have a control cell. The before and after activity comparison, it's not my favorite way to do it because there's a lot of confusing factors. Maybe this week you had something happening, the other week didn't, things like that. Other things is your survey, right? I mean, you can send a survey and say, hey, do you remember getting this email? Do you remember, or you ask the person when they're checking out, hey, what brought you in today? Search, email. So they might tell you where they came from when they're checking out. So that's another way for you to figure out, hey, we're spending 90% on search and 10% on email, but it turns out that the people who are checking out are telling us 30% from the email. So you go to your boss and say, hey, boss, look, it looks like the email is actually being a lot larger than we think it is. And then overall sales numbers, and this is something that sometimes I do when I start a new company, and there's no data, there is absolutely nothing. So what you have to do is really just say, hey, let me figure out what you did for marketing activity the last 3 months, and let me take a look at the sales numbers, those weeks versus weeks that are not. Let me see if I can see some sort of directionality. At this point, you're just grasping for straws, but at least you have figured out a way to say, hey, you know what? Well, before I started sending messages, this is where the users were. After I started the CRM plan, now these are the numbers. At least it'll give you a rough estimate before you can get there. So these are some ways for you to prove incrementality. Once again, you're going to separate two groups of people, and there's many different ways for you to figure out if you're actually delivering incremental value. Now, I will tell you, and this is, you have to accept it, not every campaign is incremental. Like the expectation is, hey, every email will move them a little bit. Sometimes they don't. You might send some messages because it might be legally required, so you're not expecting, to get sales from your privacy notice. Some messaging doesn't live because the users are near the active tab. An example that I give is, once again, when I was at PayPal, we had like some sort of Mother's Day campaign dedicated for people sending money to their mothers. Well, it's not like I'm going to forget about my mom if I don't get the email. That's pretty important. That's a day that a lot of people send money to their families. So really getting incremental, really getting a lift from a busy time period takes a lot of effort. Same thing for holidays. If you're a retailer, that your customers are going to buy more, but if you really want them to buy even further more, it's going to take even more effort. Sometimes you don't get incrementality from your campaign, and that's okay. It'll help you figure out where to put your efforts. Understand what incremental you generated. Not only look at one thing. Look whether these customers did more orders during the time of your campaign. Maybe they didn't do more orders, but they spent a little bit more money. Their average order value, the basket size of your sale increased because you had a campaign during that time period. So maybe the orders didn't change, but the money amount changed. The frequency changed. Maybe, hey, if you're a t-shirt seller, during this campaign, you usually sell 1 t-shirt a month. During this 50% off clearance, you get your users to do 1.4 purchases a month. You really move the needle with that one. So it's frequency. Referrals, maybe you're sending all of these efforts because you really want referrals, and then you can prove, hey, we're getting more referrals from the people who we're asking them from. Or retention. Once again, this might require you to track people from 6 to 12 months. And it is hard. You're tracking cohorts. You might be tracking the entire population of your database, but you may prove to your boss, hey boss, look, the group of people that are getting our CRM marketing messages are actually retaining more than the people that are not. And if it's not working, test, eliminate, or reduce. This is hugely important because, you don't have time for everything. And some of you email CRM managers, directors, know that, sometimes you are the only lever the company has, and they're just, hey, more email, more email, more email. Stick your flag in the ground and say, hey, I will do this, but not that, because I already have done it 3 times. And unfortunately, I can't get it to lift. Maybe when there's time to redo some efforts, we're going to do that, but this is the way you also figure out what's working and what's not. So you're only not doing this for the benefit of you showing your boss, hey boss, I am awesome, here's the results, here's how we did it. And the full module on AdSpiro Marketing will tell you how to calculate each one of them, pros and cons and approaches. The other thing is, it will tell you what's working and what's not working. So I hope this is beneficial. And remember, we have our live online classes and webinars, and you can sign up for AdSpiro Marketing, and we can walk you through every single one of these calculations for incremental AdSpiro Marketing. So remember, it's not about just getting busy and sending a bunch of messages. It's about proving that you actually are delivering value to your boss, to your company, to your own self. So thank you. I hope this has been useful. And I'll see you around in the next YouTube video. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys at AdSpiro Marketing. Once again, this is Francisco Guerrero saying goodbye, and I'll see you later. Thank you.